sustainable agriculture. So I introduce you everyone just now, the speakers, the panelists from the youth. Jazlyn, you're a student here or you're still students?
Oh, I used to be a student in IPB University. I was here at February last year, and I stayed here for about 6 months because of my exchange program, and now I'm back. I actually study in University of Santo Tomas in the Philippines. I'm taking Technology Pangan, Food Technology. So I can speak a bit of Bahasa Indonesia. I hope it's still good. Is it? Okay, thank you everyone. I'm really glad I could get back here. I really fell in love with Indonesia. I fell in love with Bogor and all my friends here. I really couldn't wait to get back here, especially when I saw the competition about this event. It was something that I really couldn't miss.
Thank you. Are you all the way from Philippines just for this event?
Yes, I came all the way.
Wow, give a round of applause to her. I also be informed Mr. FR just coming here. He also all the way from Malaysia just for this event.
Oh, yes.
All right. As I informed you earlier, Mr. FR is one of a great designer of a Malaysian and international. He sponsor me, Shukeri, and Faisal Baju Batik Malaysia. And I hope you guys can log on his online apparel, online store. You can get it by online, I guess, right? Okay. All right. Next, Mr. Shukeri. Mr. Shukeri, can you introduce a little bit about your job scope back in Malaysia?
Okay, my name is Mohammad Shukeri, and I'm from Ministry of Youth, and now working as the Youth and Sports Officer stationed in Miri, the northern part of Sarawak, located at Borneo Island. And of course, my designation was to help and of course to enhance the development of youth and sports in Malaysia.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Shukeri. Pak Rusdi ya, Pak Rusdi itu nama apa ya? Ambassador Malaysia di Indonesia, seorang kaya ya. Dia mempunyai Malindo Batik Air, itu namanya. Pak Rusdi, nama tokoh besar itu. So ya, ya orang-orang politik kenal itu siapa Pak Rusdi, orang kuat Pak Jokowi itu. So makanya Pak Rusdi di APB ini kenalkan diri.
Okay, actually my name is Rasyid. My name is Rasyid, and I'm from IPB and majoring in agribusiness. And this is my final year in this campus, and I hope I can share something before I left this campus.
All right, Mr. Faisal, can you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi everyone.
Oh, you have a lot of fans here.
Hi everyone, my name is Faisal. I'm a nutritionist actually, working in healthcare center in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and currently I'm still doing a volunteer program. So basically I come here to discuss to all of you, to sharing to all of you about my expertise as a nutritionist regarding about the food security. Hopefully you will get some input a lot and ask a lot of questions for us to give more and more. All right? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Give a big round of applause to our panelists for the last session, ASCI Speak 2019 IPB Bogor, Indonesia. All right, as I mentioned earlier, food security exists when all people at all time have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious foods that meets their dietary needs and food preference for an active and healthy life from the World Food Summit 1996. My question to Jazlyn, what is the government doing to solve this issue of malnutrition and poverty?
Okay, so in the Philippines, there's actually a lot of programs. There's a lot of departments involved in this. We have the Department of Health, wherein they give posters, they educate the people, what are the best foods to eat? How much rice should we actually eat? Because sometimes people would go like, okay, all rice, and then we only have sauce on top, and there's no vegetables, there's no meat, just because they couldn't afford. There's also what we go into for agriculture and fisheries, because this is the basic sector of where all our food comes from. We may say that we underestimate farmers, we go like they don't have a certain education, but honestly we have to take care of these people because the farmers is where the food begins. And surprisingly enough, these people are the ones who are poorest in my country. The Philippine National Statistics announced that farmers, fishermen, and children are the poorest in my country, and which is why the Department of Agriculture, as well as the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, are trying to engage in the development of their irrigation systems as well as their technology in order to improve.
All right, thank you, Jazlyn. You want to add more?
No, that's good.
All right, okay. What is Malaysian role of food security back in your country?
For Malaysian, actually, we got a lot of authorities like FAMA, which is Federation of Malaysian Agriculture, which help, and MALDI also, which help the youths to promote youths more interest about agriculture. So for that, for these authorities, usually, as we can see, there's a lot of incentive that can give them opportunities for youths like us to be a career as a farmers. It's not only farmers, but everything all about agriculture. For example, like become what we call more to plants, more to what we call for the cows, for the fish. This one is already inside of incentive for this one.
Well,
so
we need government to support us. We need other social communities. We need other social movement to join with us to create a massive movement so we can create long-lasting impact to children. Because the children is our future in agriculture. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rasyid. Thank you so much. If you want to be a farmer, clap your hand. Oh, saya di hadapan management school agak mana ni? All right. Our next questions to Mr. Shukeri. Mr. Shukeri, what is actually you as a government servant back in Malaysia, working in the ministry, what's actually the government role back in this topic, food security?
Okay, thank you for the question. Normally, for each and every government, they have two main roles. They have many roles, but I can shrink down our topics today. Relate to government role. Okay, the first role is as a funder, or to provide the fund for the agriculture side. Okay, second is as a policy maker. Okay, policy maker that to provide a policy in order for us to practice or to prevent something. Okay, for those two roles as a government, okay, it really depends on how it was debated, okay, in parliament and so on. Okay, maybe I will touch a bit about at a glance on this session regarding the food availability. I will focus more on food availability, which refers to how government intervention will help the food supply in the market. Okay, I'll be covering on those topics, the role of the government. Especially, I will cover more on in the revolusi industri 4.0 ataupun revolutionary industry 4.0 and Tibet later on. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shukeri. All right, next question to Jazlyn. I heard that you also doing a lot of research back in the agriculture. So how is the research important in creating a sustainable future of for the agriculture?
Actually, that's a really good question because a lot of people don't think research and agriculture kind of mix. Like, how is the farmers able to get the research in terms of what we do as scientists? Because honestly, have you heard of IRI, International Rice Research Institution, or not yet? Not yet, okay. So IRI is in Philippines, and it's a rice institute that allows us to create rice that's better for and withstands droughts, can have vitamin A. So I will tell you a story. This story was told to me by an Australian who worked there. While she was working in IRI, she had this time, out of the 7 years they worked there, they are breeding rice. They want to make rice that has vitamin A. Fun fact, vitamin A deficiency leads to deaths. And not only thousands, it's 250,000 to 515,000 annually. And before these children die, they become blind, they become weak before they die, which is terrible because they suffer before they do. So back to Erie. Erie was making rice, which is what we call the golden rice. This golden rice is color yellow, and it is high in vitamin A. So what happened to this rice was that people, actually the news broadcasted it as farmers burned down their rice before it was sampled and deemed as healthy to eat. This rice is actually for the farmers, so I doubt that it was the farmers. And the Australian who told us the story told us that CNN broadcasted the wrong type of news that time. Even Linus et al. 2013, he's also broadcasting on the internet that this is false news. It wasn't the farmers who managed to burn those rice down. It was actually GMO activists, non-GMO activists, because they didn't understand the concept of why they had to breed this type of rice. That was 7 years of work. That was Bill Gates' money. That was 250,000 to 550,000 lives per year. That caused that massive destruction by just burning that type of rice. And we had to rebreed that within, I think, another 5 to 7 years before it was given for free to the farmers. That's why research is such a huge part in terms of agriculture. Some people say the researchers only research for big institutions because you need the money for that. And that's the problem. We always think it's always about the money. But honestly, we also have to think how many billions of lives do we have to save in order to make research happen, which is why I'm really proud of what Erie does. I'm really hoping that there will be more researchers that will do the same. Like IPB University. I know that there are a lot of researchers here, researchers about local Indonesian foods, local herbs. And honestly, have you heard of Andaliman? This one was by, it was the research project of my Vietnamese friend last year. And her supervisor told her, let's make a candy out of Andaliman for the people. So it's a cheap way for people who might not eat Andaliman to enjoy it because it has this really strange taste. It's very tiny, but when you bite it, it makes your whole tongue numb. You cannot feel it for about 10 minutes. I tried to taste it and she was like, it's difficult. But these types of herbs are the ones we have to maintain because honestly, we see a lot of researchers. We see potatoes, we see oranges, apples, but do we actually know our local fruits? Which is why it's so difficult for me as a researcher also to look into our local products. And that is why I focus in the ASEAN region, because our region have similar local fruits, which I honestly hope that more people would go into that kind of research.
Jazlyn, what's currently, you don't mind to share currently research you are doing right now? Any current research?
Yeah, my current research right now is about the pili nut. It's Conarium ovatum. It is brown and it is kind of oval shaped. So this one I'm researching on its antioxidant content. In the Philippines, we're quite known for pili oil, pili nut, sweetened pili nut. It's kind of like if Indonesia is known for palm oil, Malaysia is also quite known for palm oil. So we have the pili oil. It's not necessarily so common in the stores, but it's quite traditional. And this pili oil produces a lot of waste. This food waste is the pulp of the nut itself. And that is filled with a lot of antioxidants. In my research, I am trying to make herbal tea. I think you like to drink, right? Te, tarik, and all that. Yeah. So if you enjoy that, I think you will enjoy my research because honestly, one, it helps reduce food waste. Number two, it gives you high antioxidants. Number three, you are helping a lot of people with this kind of research, and it is cheap, it's affordable. You don't have to spend so much money for it, and we want to give that to the public.
Are you planning to commercialize this research in the future?
Yes, actually.
Right. Please invite me too. All right, my next question to Mr. Faisal. What's actually the role of the youths in the food security issue?
All right. I just want to share to all of you about the United Nations under FAO, which is FAO is considered as a food and agriculture organization. It's under its United Nations. They highlight about 6 key points how to promote youth to become a good farmers or a farmer as a what you call a career. So the first one, they said inside the key point is about access to knowledge. As people said to us that tak kenal maka tak cinta. If you don't know, you don't love it, is it? So the first one is about awareness and knowledge. That's why currently I believe that most of the country in the world suggest and give knowledge about the agriculture is very important. For example, Indonesia, we got EPB, right? In Malaysia, we got UPM, University Pertanian Malaysia. Also in Thailand, we got University of Chulalongkorn. The Philippines, we got University of what in the Philippines? Okay, I believe that all countries got university that give knowledge and access knowledge for the youths to become a good farmers, or what we call a best farmers. Then secondly, is about the access to land. I believe that all youths currently doesn't have a land. And we know that we only inherit a land from our parents. So land is one of the access that we have to be a farmer. So in order for that, government must provide one specific land for agriculture for the youth opportunity. How they can get, for example, under United Nations, FAO, they put one guideline if they give a lease land. Lease land is mean that they give one land to the youth to what we call make it like a big farm, and then they need to pay some of the percentage to give to this owner of the land. Something like that. So this is second one, is access to land. The third one is regarding about access to financial services. Again, without money, we can't do anything. Is it right? If you don't have money, you can buy egg, you can buy rice. No, right? Yeah. So the first thing of the access of financial services is coming from the bank and authorities. So in order for that, usually these authorities will already make an MOU with the banks of that states already. So in order for that, they give the opportunity, the financial support for them to use as a modal and commodities, and then use it as a first budget to make a farm. And then the fourth one is regarding about access to green job. What is meant by green job? Anyone know about green job? Have anyone heard about green job? Okay. Okay, green job is actually, they want to enhance that giving a skill a farmer is most important. So green job is mean that we prepare the all youths to become a good farmer. What is the prepare is about the skill itself. Either from the first one coming from the technologies, because currently is our revolution is 4.0 industrial revolution, right? So we need some technologies to learn to become a good farmer. So that's why one of the good, what we call a green job is actually we want to give the technology skill to them to develop as a good farmer. Then the fifth one is going to access to market. Some people know how to become a farmer, but they don't know how to market or what we call sell their products, right? So that's why markets is the most important for them to understand. In order for that, these authorities need to give them some opportunities how to sell their product to the community. So because of that, access market is the fifth one. And the last one, in order for that to promote about the youth, about the agriculture, is about engagement in policy dialogue. It means that we know about knowledge, we have land, we already have money, we have already a targeted market. However, if you break the law, what happens is, anything is rude. So that's why policy is the last thing that you should know, how to sell and to become a good farmer. So I think these 6 guidelines coming from the United Nations is the best and to promote all of us, all the youth like us to become a good farmer. Again, good farmer, as I say, everyone is just clap your hands, so everyone want to be a farmer, right?
All right. Faisal, Jazlyn have question from you.
Yes.
For you.
Actually, those points are really good. And honestly, the Philippine government have applied that to the Philippines. We have 2 laws. The Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act, which we try to modernize the farmers' technologies, as well as the fishermen. And we also have the CARP, which is Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. So CARP is to give lands to the farmers. Basically, they distribute people with land already to give it to the farmers.
I think the can GMO, genetically modified organisms help end the world hunger? I think the question is good for the nutrition of Mr. Faisal.
All right. Basically, based on my point of view regarding about GMO, genetically modified organism, or most of the time we call to JMF, genetically modified food. So GMO mostly some of other countries like Europe, they already put sign GMO will be banned, some of the Europe countries said. And USA, some of them still use a lot of production in terms of corn, in terms of soybean. Most of the time use a GMO. Why? They need a GMO. GMO is the easiest one, which is coming from the research base. They use a genetic modify their genetic inside of the crop itself. So it can produce with a less counterpart of any resistance, for example, like pesticide, insecticide. So this can make these crops become what we call the yield of the production is huge, a large scale. So that's why it can improve the production itself. It means that in terms of the three pillars of the food security, one of them is availability, right? So GMO, yes, I will admit that GMO helpful to improve the availability of the food. However, there's some research also that GMO can be what we call it in the long features or in the long years, it can make harmful. But it's still uncertainty because they got research said it's good, some research is safe, but some research said can be what we call still on debate. So that's why GMO currently is still ongoing research. So I couldn't give conclude that I can say that GMO is yes or GMO is good. However, in terms of availability, yes, it can improve the food availability, or lastly, for the food security is very good in terms of using a GMO. But some countries, again, like Europe, doesn't allow and ban of GMO food. If you heard about some Europe countries, they said that GMO food is not allowed to come inside their trading company. So that's why GMO, some of them said that yes, some say it's no. So with that, I think that I can't give any conclusion, concrete, to this question.
I think it might be a special lecture for you to talk about
yes, okay.
All right. Okay, next question for Rasyid. How to set mindset to youth, I think specifically in Indonesia, that to be a farmer isn't miserable. What sustainability of productivity gains? What is your point of view?
So to create a mindset is not that easy. It requires a long time. So yeah, it has to be sustainable. It has to be keep continuing. But how to create a mindset? Yeah, we have to create a good image first to the youth and the children that being a farmer is not that miserable. For example, there is a real example in farmers in the United States or another country that being a farmer can be rich. Or even in Indonesia, the richest person in Indonesia is in agricultural sector. It means that maybe a lot of us still do not know what is the good side of the agriculture. So as I said before, we have to deliver the agricultural education in a fun and creative way. So it is just not like usual lecture or usual lesson. We have to create a different method so it will be remarkable, and it has to be sustainable to create a mindset. I mean, mindset is like doctrine, right? How to give a doctrine? Yeah, the point is that the time, it is about the time how long we give that doctrine to someone. So it will create a fixed mindset. So they will see that agriculture is a potential job in the future.
All right, thank you. You want to add something?
Yeah, I want.
Bateri sudah habis.
I want to add on about the interest for the farms during a children. So some of the governments, like American and Canada, they encourage to give children as a what we call opening for them to do farming in the early stage. Why? Because one of the reasons as a nutritionist, we need to encourage them to eat vegetables and fruits. In order for that to make an interest to eat vegetables and fruits is actually coming from the farming. They will appreciate, oh, this is how the chili is growing out, this is how the carrot is growing out, oh, this is how. They will interest and attractive. So that's why from this one, I think it's a very good actually to start for Indonesian or maybe like Malaysian, I'm not sure, can make like education for the children to make farmings. As currently, we know that urban farming, you have heard about urban farming, right? Yeah, urban farming it become a trend right now. So that's why I think it's very good to include the children for the farming itself. Right?
All right, thank you, Faisal. Next questions from who's that? Baharuddin Shah. Who is Baharuddin Shah? Baharuddin Shah sudah pulang? Ada? Okay. Okay, Baharuddin, tepuklah sikit Baharuddin Shah. Yeah. Baharuddin Shah, how to reinvigorate productivity gain among rural producer and provide the foundation for long-run sustainability of productivity gain. I guess, Jazlyn, you might have that. Any point of that?
Actually, that reminds me a lot of my professor in University of Santo Tomas when he gave us the story. He was like, you know, in Malaysia it is very nice because I have one friend who is a dentist and I have one friend who is a doctor. But you know what they did after they graduate? They became farmers. You know why? Because government allowed them to have the seminar, to give money, and then they will pay it back slowly, which is a good foundation. I mean, the government gives you a startup money. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what my professor told me. And that's what he wishes for Philippines, to start with a startup money. Can I see the raise of hands? Who would try to make a farm if the government actually paid you and they will give you 0 interest for the next 2 years? Can I see? Would anyone still try to be a farmer? Oh, nice. We have a few hands. So yeah, I think it's honestly a good idea, and I would try it out because it's a startup with like little risk. The government is helping you out, and that's honestly the way to go because it's a collaboration of science, your budget, your government, who help you work together.
Anything anyone want to add? Any questions?
Maybe I want to add regarding to Jazlyn's point just now, how to improve the rural producer and provide the foundation for long-run sustainability is by, I think, to me, the most important thing is connectivity. Okay, how we are connecting the rural area to the market so that we can immediately market all the outputs direct to the market without any delay, because only one day delay, it will cause maybe a high loss to the producer. So that if we have a proper channel to transport the production, of course it can help for us to have sustainability in the productivity.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you to all the panelists for today, this evening, for the session 3, Managing Sustainable Food Security and Promote Sustainable Agriculture. I would like to say thank you to Jazlyn, Shukeri, Rasyid, and Faisal from Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Malaysia. It's a really great collaboration because since morning we share a lot of a very difficult, critical topic. For the first session, we are sharing about the volunteering. Second session, we're talking about zero hunger and building climate resilient for food security and nutrition. And the last but not least, our last session for this timeline, which is managing sustainable food security and promote sustainable agriculture, which is all the panel and all the panelists was and is right now is a huge critical topic, a very deep topic, and ASCI Speak already brought you another level of thinkers and another level of a decision maker and to share to the stakeholder. So I wish you guys can give a round of applause to all the panelists since morning until the evening. And give a big applause to the organizer, IPB Bogor, Indonesia. I know all the committee work really, really hard, tireless, and all that. And all the winners for the essay, give a big round of applause to them. Also, all the participants who shared the essay for the entire program. And I also thank you so much for the delegates and all the audience, students, Pak Dosen, Ibu Dosen yang ada di sini. You guys are really supportive. I want to see more ASEAN are going to do like this. We are be more open. We are be more spirits for the youth's power. We need a future leader to speak. We have enough of a yesterday talent. We need for the future talent. That's why we brought you Asia Speak 2019. Thank you very much. All the best for you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Rio Ferdinand Kiantara from Indonesia. Rio, and the second place goes to. What do you think? Who will be the second place? Oh, I got 7 names, but I only one name here. And the second place, the second winner is Jazlyn born Onglim.